Hello everybody, today we're going to be making some cars in Minecraft. We're going to be looking at how they work, how to build them, and sort of what can they do, how fast can they go, and yeah. Now in order to do this, we're going to need several mods. This is all going to sort of center around create. If you haven't heard of create, you're living under a rock. The first mod we're going to look at is Trackwork. Now I'm going to be looking at cars, not tanks. So I'm not going to be dealing with any of the tank tracks or anything. We're just going to be looking at the wheels for now. You can see you've got two different ones. You've got the medium wheel and the normal wheel. Normal one is bigger and for some reason weighs less. You can see at the top, this is 525 kilograms, which is a really heavy wheel, and the small one's 1,000. So I noticed that just before recording. I don't know why it's like that, but it is. And then we've also got the track toolkit, which will basically allow us to change the position and suspension of the wheels. And we'll get into that once we actually start, you know, building a vehicle. Next thing I want to go over is the drive-by-wire mod. This is a very useful mod for making vehicles. Uh, so you can use these linked controllers and redstone links, and you can make a vehicle with these. You will still need the linked controller, but you can use redstone links, and these are pretty cool. So you can set like a frequency. Yeah, you can set a frequency, and if I were to power this one, you'll see that one gets powered wirelessly, and so we can use this linked controller to, if we shift right click, we can put in whatever our frequency was. So, for that, that's set to W. So if I press W, it turns on. Using the redstone links is kind of clunky, and it's just not really needed because you have this, the linked controller hub, which also comes with cables and cable cutters. Now, I can't really show you quite what this does yet. It only works on an actual created vehicle. So I'll show you that once we get to there. And there's also the tweaked controller hub, which also comes with a tweaked link controller. Now, this thing is pretty cool. So you saw the control scheme for this. You get 6 channels, 6 buttons. With this one, you get an entire gamepad, and you have analog controls. You have tons more buttons. This thing is really cool. I haven't actually used it yet. I haven't really made anything that needs it. Everything I've made has just had 6 channels or less. So I haven't used it yet, but it's really cool. And now for the moment you've been waiting for, the ship assembler. Notice it's in a glass cage. That's because if I accidentally right click it, it will try to turn this whole thing into a vehicle, and I don't want that. This is the ship assembler, and you can use this to create ships. So if I just place down some blocks, I'll use stone. So if I just place down a few blocks, I can place the ship assembler, and then right click the ship assembler, and it... Okay, so for some reason stone didn't want to turn into a ship, so I'll just show you with smooth stone. So if I place it down, place it, right click, turn, it falls. You can see now we've got this. It's a physics entity. You can see it. It doesn't behave like normal, but it's not very useful because it just kind of sits there. We want it to. We want to be able to do something with it. We want to move it. We want it to move. So let's look at this chest. We have 3 items in here. We have the gravitron, the create gravitron, and the fizz gun. So the gravitron and the create gravitron are from the Clockwork mod, or the Clockwork add-on for Valkerian Skies. Now, I'm not entirely sure what the difference is between them. Obviously, the gravitron has a crafting recipe and the creative one doesn't. But they essentially just let you move your objects around. So by right-clicking this, I can pick it up and I can look around, move it around. If I am looking at a block on it while I'm holding it and I left click, it freezes in place, which is pretty useful because if I wanted to say work on it, I'd, proceed to build on it. And I want to, move it, pick it up, drop it. And there we go. Normal Gravitron does the same thing, of course. And then you have the Fizz Gun. Now, I personally prefer to use the Fizz Gun over the Gravitron. This is actually from VMod, as you can see. And so it works like the physics gun from Gary's mod. Basically, you get the beam. You can actually move it closer and oh my. You move it further away or closer to you. You can actually rotate it if you hold E and move the mouse. You can right click to freeze, and you don't actually have to be looking at a block on it. You can press R to unfreeze. And so let me show you what I mean by that. You don't have to be looking at a block. So you can see right now, I'm not actually hovering over a block. If I left click, it will not freeze. I have to actually be looking at a block for it to freeze. Now for the rest of this video, I'm going to be sticking with the Fizz Gun because I think it's just kind of better in general. But so let's go over sort of some building. So let me grab a wheel, grab some wheels. So if I just, oh, that's the wrong direction. Oh, I know what's wrong. So this ship is currently rotated in some weird way. Okay, I think it needs to be like that. Yeah, okay. So let's just make up a little, I'm not even, a little cart. This isn't even really a car, it's just a cart. So you can see this thing's now got wheels. We can pick it up, the wheels will spin. It's even got suspension already. You know, we're most of the way to having a car. So I can show you this track toolkit now. So one weird thing about these wheels is the block, like there's no hitbox here, but the hitbox that registers is in a really inconvenient place. So when you're actually like building up your car, you can't place something there. So making a decent looking vehicle can be kind of challenging, as you'll see. Well, let me show you this track toolkit. So if we right click it once, we'll get I guess it's just an air pump. And if we right click again, we'll get like a impact wrench or something. And so you can cycle between the two. And so we can use the pump to increase the suspension stiffness or decrease it by control right clicking. So you can see it basically gets taller. And now this does actually have, like, the weight matters. So you'll see if I weigh it down more, wrong item. You can see it's, maybe you can, oh yeah, I think you can tell. It's getting weighed down basically. And you can see it's leaning to one side. So it's pretty cool. Now also this, what you can do is if you're looking at this block from this sort of angle, you can right click on from left to right, and it will actually move the, stop that. It'll move the wheels in and out. You move the wheels in and out. And then you can go from this side and do the same thing, just forward and backward. And so you can get a very customized, configured, suspension setup with this. Now, this is pretty cool, but of course we need it to actually like drive. This isn't very useful. So let's look at a couple of different drive mechanisms I've kind of came up with, and some useful blocks. So this is a brass gearbox. So this is from Create Connected, and this thing's awesome. So you can see I've got a creative motor and a clutch. You can see if I spin it, these are going the wrong direction. And I mean, if you have a normal gearbox, this is what you're going to get. But what's special about this is if I right click the side, you can change each side individually. So that makes it useful in general, but it's useful for these vehicles. An alternative that you could do to that would be to just use encased chain drives. And that kind of just depends on sort of the size of the vehicle and how you want your motor to be laid out. If you have like a wider but shorter vehicle, this would probably be more optimal. But if you had something, that was, thinner but longer, this would be better. And then this is more of something that you would actually want to have. So this will allow you to go forward and backward uh, wirelessly. Obviously, it's not wireless right now, but we'll get to that in a minute. So this uses an inverted clutch. I highly recommend using Create Connected for this because it comes with, well, I mean, even just these two blocks is enough. Even just the inverted clutch alone is enough to, get the mod. But so this is sort of what I consider sort of like a standard drivetrain setup. So you've got the inverted clutch, which by default will not allow power to go through. And then you have a gear shift. And so basically what you'll do is if you want to go forward, you'll power the inverted clutch. You can see it is going forward. And if you wanted to go backward, you would power that and the gear shift. And now you can go backward. So that would actually allow you to have full movement as opposed to just forward and off. This is a not necessarily more compact version. It's a bit shorter. You can see it's wider, of course, but it just uses encased chain drives, and it's pretty much the same thing. I actually really like this design. I think it's it fits in a 3x3. It's pretty nice. But then there's actually a better design where you swap out some of the encased chain drives with these adjustable chain gear shifts. Now what these do is they allow you to, when you power them, they will double the speed going into these encased chain drives. So let's say we give it power. You can see we're getting a moderate 69 RPM, nice. If we power this one, you can see we get a fast 138 RPM. Now if we power this one, what's going to happen? We get 276 RPM. Now you may be wondering, how is that possible? Well, if you go to mods and you go to the config for create, where did it go? You can actually change, this is using the configured mod, by the way. You can go to gameplay settings, kinetics. You can actually change the max revolution speed. So I have it set to some, crazy power of 2. So I don't have to really worry about it. So we can get very fast vehicles. And trust me, if you can go pretty much as fast as you can load chunks. I got a vehicle to go, like, I saw it hit 600 miles an hour, and then it stopped because I couldn't load the chunks fast enough. But you can go pretty fast. Another fun thing that you can do with these is you can use these powered toggled latches, and you can actually use that as more like a permanent gear shift instead of just a temporary boost, because when using this you're going to have to hold the button if you just had it directly connected. But if you have it connected to this first, then you can just press the button, it'll toggle, press the button again, toggle off. This will make a bit more sense momentarily when I show you a vehicle that actually uses this. But for now, let's go ahead and just turn. Where did it go? How did it get over there? Come here. Come here. Come here. Come here. Okay, so the car. Oh, it's running away. So the car has been relocated, or has been located again. So technically, it has been relocated. Anyway, we're gonna get a lectern. The reason that we want a lectern is because this will actually basically act as a steering wheel, essentially. So if we get the lectern, we get the controller hub, and then we also need the drive-by-wire cables. What we can do, we can set up a linked controller hub, and we're going to right-click this with a cable. Okay, now we can scroll to change what channel we're going through. Now, we're going to just do the steering right now. So we'll do key left and key right. Now, for some reason, sometimes it's flipped and sometimes it's not. So I'm going to go with it's going to be flipped, and I'm going to put the right one on the left and the left one on the right. And then we can right-click this controller hub with a linked controller. You can see that will link it. And okay, this time it is backwards. I think it might have something to do with the orientation that you form the vehicle at, but I'm not really sure. But it's pretty annoying. Yeah, it's fine though. So you can see we now have correctly functional steering. And so if I, give this a little push, we can actually sort of start driving a little bit, very slowly. And you can actually right-click the link controller into Electron. This is why we need it. So you can just put that in there, and then you can just have it attached to the vehicle. But of course, this isn't very... I mean, this is better than it was, but it's still not all that useful. So let's go ahead and give it some actual, power. Now, again, we're going to run into sort of the issue of the hitbox for these wheels, because you're going to see that to power them, we need to put the shaft in there, and it looks really stupid. It just does not look good, but it's just kind of the way it has to be, it seems. So let's go ahead and just make like that first super simple setup. Excuse you. There we go. And then to hook this up, very simple. We go back into our link controller hub. We want key up to be on our inverted clutch. And we want key down to be on the inverted clutch also, but also on the gear shift. So now you'll see that if I press W, it goes forward. If I press S, it goes backward. Now I can actually have a vehicle that I can drive. And it's pretty fast because I've made it full speed. Well, it can go faster, of course, but it's pretty cool. If you get a seat, which I do not have, you can actually go into third person, and it'll give you like a third person view of the actual vehicle, not just you. So let's go ahead and get an actual vehicle that I've, made already. Let's go ahead and bring that up. That's going to take just a second. And yeah, we'll kind of give that a little bit of testing. I'll kind of go over some information about it. It's dark down there. Oh, here it comes. Maybe. Nope, it's not here. Okay, this time it should actually like be something there and not just an empty platform. So hopefully, fingers crossed, we actually have a vehicle coming up this time. And hopefully it's a vehicle that's better than this thing. Oh, whoa, it's tipping over, but it's mildly better. It looks terrible, but this is a vehicle. This is a car that I have pre-made. I actually have 3 vehicles to show total. Plus this one that we built. And so this one I built, it's very simple, very basic, very ugly. It's got a 4 block wide wheelbase. You can see this one's 5 block wide, so you got 3 in between, and then you can see it's 5 between the wheels. So you can see this is 4. So it's not quite as stable in theory, but because of this netherite that's just kind of keeping it stable, because netherite weighs quite a lot, it actually works quite well. I didn't have a link controller in here, but you can see we can drive around, and it's not very fast. It's not a very fast car. So the standard speed that these vehicles can go seems to be 60 miles an hour. And you may have noticed in the bottom right there is a speedometer, but it doesn't work when you're actually like sitting in a vehicle for some reason. So if I just get up here, we can actually see how fast it's going. So you can see we're hitting about 60, getting a little over 60 sometimes if we're going straight. Maybe like 61, just kind of some variance. And you can see the suspension does actually do a pretty decent job of going over blocks. It's not the greatest. And it definitely gets worse when you are going faster, but it's honestly pretty usable. And these are the small wheels, so they're not as good at climbing and traversing terrain, but the big wheels are. So let's go ahead and get the next vehicle, which we're just going to send that down, and it should return as a new vehicle. Alrighty, so we should have so the new vehicle should be coming right up, and this one's a little better, and I just wanted to mention once again that it can be kind of difficult to make things look decent because of these hitboxes for the wheels. Again, very annoying. I really wish they would fix that. But anyway, here's a better vehicle. It doesn't really look better, but it definitely functions better because it's got a better drivetrain and it's also got big wheels. So you can see you can go in here, of course. You can see we've got the fancy drivetrain that we showed off earlier. Particularly... Oh no, I'm flipping over. Particularly this drivetrain, which means that we have a 4x boost available. So if we press space while driving it, we can actually go 4 times as fast. Now I'm actually going to drive this while riding on top of it so we can see how fast it's going. And we'll go hit the track real quick. See how that goes. Alright, so we've got this here on this first track. I've built 2 tracks here. This one's just a loop. It's pretty simple. So let's just see. I can't actually go full speed here because if I do, then yeah, as you can see, I will fall off the map. Well, it's not really a map. Oh no, oh no. And there goes the car. You can see it goes pretty fast. I can go faster now since there's more area, but you can see, it can go pretty fast. Particularly, we can get up to 240 with this one. Because if you take the standard 60-mile-an-hour speed and then you times it by 4 because we have a 4x speed multiplier, you get 240. Now let's just do a bit of, trying to drive on this track. It's honestly not the easiest, and it's not really the best for, like, racing on a track. You can see you got to do a lot of slowing down and speeding up to not wreck. But it doesn't flip over, which is really nice. If I took that netherite out, it actually would flip over, and I can show you that. Weight distribution is pretty important with these. So you can see if I take that netherite out of the front, and for one thing, it's a lot bouncier now. You can see it's also, I'm not sure if you can really, yeah, it's a lot less stable. So if I'm just trying to drive, I mean, if I just hit that, you can see I go flying. If I try to turn, it likes to spin out. So having A, some extra weight, and B, having it focused towards the front and near the axle. Well, I mean, there's not really an axle, but where the axle would be really does help. You can see we can do this now, and if I turn, you can see not even a chance of tipping, not even close. That's because netherite is 89,680 kilograms per block, which is a lot more than normal blocks. You can see, like, stone is 2,600, or the default for blocks is 1,000. So, like, you can see 1,000. That's only 10. 1,000. Yeah. So, yeah, it's pretty heavy. And now, one little tip is you can press F3 and G. Not F3 and G, sorry, F3 and B. Oh, what have I done here? I managed to go, okay. You can do F3 and B, and you can actually see the hitboxes. However, there's another useful thing that you can see here, which is not visible on this one. But you can, oh, yeah, it is. You can see the center of gravity. You can see that orange cube is the center of gravity. So let's just remove that. Where'd it go? Oh, it's way back. It went way back and way up. So by adding that, you can see it's going to make that a lot more stable. Now, of course, I have one more vehicle, like I said. So let's go ahead and just get that, summoned up in here. So let's just wait for that to come back up, and we'll be back. All right, now any moment we should have our final vehicle popping up. And there it is. We got a semi-truck. And this one kind of looks worse than the other two. But this one, so this kind of shows off some interesting stuff. I mean, not really. It's not really much different from the other vehicles. And that's about it. It does have it does have a special fancy toggleable gear shifter, so you can actually go into a permanent second gear, so you don't have to just hold a button the whole time. So let me just get in here. There we go. Let me go ahead and just link this up. Oh, you can see we're driving. So if I just hop in the seat here, you can see we can drive around. And now with the two wheels, or the two rear axles, it actually makes the turning radius worse, which is very realistic. That would make it worse. And it does. It also, I'm kind of conflicted on whether or not it actually improves acceleration or not. There are sometimes it kind of seems like having two driven axles helps, and other times it just doesn't seem to do anything, like right now. But, yeah, I'm not really sure. But so, as you can see, this drivetrain, we've got two encased chain drives just to make it symmetrical. It's just to make it look nice. Got a brass gearbox going into here. We've got this double cardan shaft from Petrol's parts. This is a really cool item. I'd recommend it. I'd recommend the mod, recommend the item. We've got one of these adjustable chain gear shift thingies. We got a gear shift, normal one. Another adjustable chain gear shift. Then we've got our inverted clutch. Then we've got another one of these double cardan shafts going into another one of these chain gear shifts. This one being powered by the toggleable thing. So if I press control, you can see it will toggle that. And yeah, then we got a creative motor. So this really isn't that much different from the other vehicles. It's just bigger, more wheels, but other than that, and also, you know, more shiftability. But other than that, it's really no different. We can actually see the difference. Excuse me. We can see the difference between the two speeds. So if we just get here on the track. So if I'm just going full speed, this is first gear. Oh, thank you for that. You can see in first gear we can get up to, as I said before, about 60 miles an hour. And then if I just press control once, you can see we can now go up to 120 miles an hour. And we kind of top out at that. And then if I hold space, we get the boost and we can go up to a maximum of 480 miles an hour, which I don't have enough space to reach, but maybe one day. But I do have one more cool thing I want to show off about this semi. I only have 3 vehicles, but I do have one more accessory thing that we're just going to have to wait for it to come back up. So let's give that a second. So the last thing I wanted to show you has straight up disappeared. It is just no longer in this world, apparently. But basically what it was a trailer. I can just build one real quick. It's not too hard. And so what's nice about the trailer is it can actually be towed by the truck. So I'll just make a little trailer real quick just to kind of show this off, because I was planning on it, but my other trailer has disappeared. So we're gonna just build another one real quick. We'll do it live. Boom. Nope, I forgot stone doesn't work. How about this? Nope. Okay. Okay, that should work. No! It's fine. Oh, That's a little higher than I wanted it. Okay, well that should be good. So we can actually just hook this trailer. That's a little short. we can put that on there, and you can see it actually will sit in there. We can actually drive this around, and it will pull the trailer, which is, oh, that wasn't great, but it's honestly pretty cool. So that actually kind of brings the utility of these vehicles up some for, like a survival world. And the trailer, just like a real one, can also tip over and fall out. Well, I don't know if they usually fall out like that, but they can tip over in real life. It's close enough. But so one last thing I want to do before I end it off is I want to go down this big ramp because I think the big ramp is fun. So we're just gonna bring this bad boy over here. So this ramp just goes down to the ground, and we're just gonna kind of see how fast we can go. You can see we got a nice long view. So let's go. Let's see. Yep, we are in second. Let's see, we are already almost at 120, and I am now boosting up, and we lost it. Oh, she flies. Yeah, they fell into unloaded chunks, and it stopped. If it runs into chunks that haven't been loaded, it'll just lose all of its momentum. However, there's actually something interesting about that. Chicken chunks, chunk loaders actually do work on these. So if you place one on here, it will keep it chunk loaded. Let's just go up a bit. We won't do the whole thing. Now this thing seems really slow to accelerate, like compared to the other vehicles. Probably because it's just heavier. So it makes sense. You can see it's pretty cool. Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Oh no! Ah! Okay, we're good. We're good. Bonk. So anyway, kind of just to conclude the video, I really think these vehicles are cool. I think that these mods, I dreamed of having this kind of thing, back in like 1.7.10, 1.6.4, like being able to like build your own vehicles. And now you can. I honestly never thought I would see a day where Minecraft would become this capable, where we could have full-on physics vehicles in the game. But we do now. And it's honestly amazing. I'm hoping to make more videos about Create in general, but also, especially these vehicles. And I want to do like a survival playthrough where I actually use, these mods and these vehicles to kind of make like a survival world. But I didn't actually use any of the testing things, any of the testing equipment. Not that it really matters. They handle on one block pretty okay. 2 blocks, not really. They're honestly, they're probably not that practical to use in a survival world, but they're definitely fun. They're really fun. They're fun to drive around. They're fun to build, and there's a lot more you can do with this stuff. I mean, this is just scratching the surface. You can build boats, you can build planes, you can build spaceships that go into space. There is a mod that lets you actually build a rocket with this mod and go into space and explore the solar system. And so I hope to cover that soon. There's just so much cool stuff here. There's so much cool stuff to be done, so much cool stuff that has been done, and I'd really recommend checking this out for yourself. I'll have a list of the mods that you need to just kind of get this working down in the description. And yeah, so I hope you enjoyed. I hope you enjoy playing around with this mod yourself. I know I do for sure. And anyway, yeah, have a good one.